All right. Space nerds, listen. Industrial gameplay, it's been a little bit kind of pushed to the side a bit over the years, and we want more industrial, less combat. Now, I can't say there's going to be less combat, but this Star Citizen Live's got a lot of news about more industrial. Let's get into it. First up, crafting gameplay is clearly going to be the connective tissue of everything in this game. We've seen that over the months. But this episode of Star Citizen Live, they really dialed in just how connective it was for everything. Thorsten, Liemann, the lead systems designer, and Elliot, Maltby, the lead mission designer, were joining Jared Huckabee on the show this week to talk about all of the industrial systems and how all the different gameplay loops kind of fit different players. Like if you're into hull scraping, you're kind of more into relaxing, kicking back. And if you're into refueling, you don't really like gameplay. No, I'm kidding. Okay, gameplay is coming to refueling. They're actually talking about new missions coming in. They're currently developing two different types, AI to player and player to AI, which is a bigger deal than it sounds actually. See, the whole idea of NPCs doing things for players hasn't happened in this game. NPCs have kind of sucked at everything. No, they've been really good at standing on chairs, but most everything else they've not really done a great job at. So now, the idea of an NPC coming to refuel you kind of sounds like possibly an NPC coming to revive you, or an NPC coming to deliver your ship, or maybe even an NPC coming to, I don't know, give you some security? I know. Crazy, but NPCs doing things for players could actually start to be a big deal in the game if they can get the stability to work out with it. That being said, the NPCs are going to have to not completely freak out and crash into things when they come refuel us. They also mentioned with refueling that there are going to be some quality of life improvements coming to the player-to-player refueling stuff, which is some of the most important, and a new refueling ship. No timeline on either of those, so don't expect them anytime soon. Industrial missions got some mentions, mainly because the recent additions have expanded salvage gameplay to include component retrieval. Historically, salvage has depended on, I think, 3 key components. Hull salvage, which is like scraping the hull and crunching on the ship. Component retrieval, which is getting all the components retrieved. And gas siphoning. This would be like taking somebody's fuel or oxygen off the ship. Now, this has been discussed in the past, but not for a while, and they did confirm it's still going to be a thing. But as of right now, the team is more focused on implementing fuel scooping out of gas clouds to get fuel, which is going to be another way to collect fuel. It's like it's gas mining. You can do that. But these two first types of salvage being in the game and used in missions are actually a pretty good thing for tutorials and for new players coming in and getting kind of drawn into what makes the game unique. They also confirmed that Recco Pataglia, who is an old mission giver who was placed in Levski and is still there but isn't really interactive, is going to come back and offer some of these missions in Nyx. We also heard about some scouting type missions which will come along these industrial type missions, which sounds kind of exploration vibe to me. Other incoming improvements include plans to generate missions dynamically from ships that have been left over and claimed, prioritization on the ability to dump your salvaging buffer off your ship, though no timeline on that one. Another confirmation that breaching charges will still be in the game, which I was hoping would kind of be like the mining gadgets that we place on ore. You could use these to blow ships apart if you don't have a ship big enough to fracture it, or you could blow into a ship if you can't breach it any other way. Again, no timeline on those. Also, confirmation that the SRV towing missions are going to be making an appearance at some point. They've already started prototyping on them. Okay, just totally realized that bottle was sitting there. I am not sponsored, but I do drink water and you should too. Okay, cargo hauling. This did come up mostly in the context of MFDs. Actually, this was about cargo manifests, which is kind of important. The question was about how pirates have a better idea of what's in your ship from scanning it than you do from being inside of it. Can't disagree. They actually said there's a feature coming soon that would benefit a lot from you being able to know what's on your cargo grid. They didn't say when it was coming. They didn't say when the manifest was coming, but I do feel like crafting is fitting that bill, as you do need to know what's on your cargo grid to pull the resources into the crafting machines that you have. So maybe not, I don't know. They didn't say, but hopefully soon. There's also a system in development to split big boxes into smaller ones and put smaller boxes into larger ones, but they're going to charge you money for that. It is a system that people have wanted for a really long time, though. The moving of boxes, not money. Nobody really likes fees, but fees are good deterrents from getting people to do something that's too easy. So we'll see how they balance it. Also, cargo contracts have been split up into their different kingdoms, courier missions being for one-handed items like valuables and artifacts, which is what I'm aimed at in my own cargo gameplay. I want to be kind of like an explorer, person who gets things. Yoink. delivery missions, which are small 1 to 6 SCU jobs, and hauling contracts for the big boys. As you can imagine, each tier has its own trade-offs, but only artifact hunting will let you dive into the caves. But the beginner missions for this stuff are going to be moving boxes between different wings in the distribution centers. This actually works out quite well in helping to populate localized gameplay, which they've been talking about trying to do for a long time. It also makes for some really good starter missions because these people can get into a place that is controlled, it's low stakes, it doesn't put their own stuff up at risk, and it lets you understand and learn how logistics works in Star Citizen in a closed, pretty understood environment. For all we know, they might instance the inside of these distribution centers to keep newcomers safe. This is going to be great because the new player experience. Refining gameplay also came up, and while we all wish they would have talked about the Expanse, they did not. The refining update won't be coming with the first version of crafting, but it will be a critical part, and all parts of refining, from the station to the ships to whatever we do on our bases, are going to be the same processes, just different timescales. But no real updates on this, no real timing. I wouldn't even expect something on it this year. Now, beyond the purely industrial updates we actually got some pretty interesting information about Star Citizen's kind of like philosophy, starting with PvE and PvP, everybody's favorite. So Elliot explained that Star Citizen is not really purely PvE or PvP, something no game has ever tried to claim before, but that it's going to have different star systems with different security levels that will encourage you to engage in certain areas. We've gone over this way too many times. The idea that you're supposed to be able to do certain things in some places and not in others because you're going to get gunned down real quick. If you've played a modern game these days, a lot of games do this kind of thing. I mean, Grand Theft Auto has been doing it for like almost as old as me. In the Terra system, you're going to be a lot safer than you would be in Stanton. In Stanton, you're going to be safer than you would be in Nyx. In Nyx, you'll be marginally safer than Pyro. But they're very aware that that doesn't exist in Star Citizen at all. And honestly, I hate that. I think it's way too late for that to not be a thing. And so I'm hoping that with this whole refueling NPCs, maybe security will make some kind of a comeback sometime soon. But as of right now, the loss system's very broken, security doesn't exist, and CIG's trying to make it clear that they know that and are not planning on that being the case for Star Citizen long term. It's just that most of you guys aren't playing in the long term, playing right now. It kind of sucks right now. And they make sure to emphasize that the danger can come from NPC pirates as well. It's not necessarily PvE versus PvP, it is danger versus non-danger. If you're in Terra, players and NPCs alike are less likely to find you, just like if you're in Pyro, players and NPC pirates alike are more likely to attack you. And if they actually do their whole 9-to-1 ratio correctly, it'll be more NPCs regardless, but we'll see if that actually happens. After this, they went into multi-crew gameplay, particularly with mining and salvage, how mining is easier to develop multi-crew for by introducing instability and making people get into one ship to reduce it, versus salvage, which just chucking boxes. No, they acknowledge that the cargo part of salvage is fun, but it is harder to make it more multi-crew interesting. I'm thinking as we get larger wrecks and more components, that'll be the case. We really don't have a lot of ships to actually get into. Imagine using breaching charges to get into like an 890 jump or a Starlancer Max, and somebody needs to be prepared for the explosive decompression. Somebody else has got to be siphoning the fuel while somebody else is doing the hull scraping. It's kind of, I don't know. We also got brief touch on racing missions, which was kind of random, but apparently they broke with 4.0 as we all know and have been looking for them to come back. But the future plans is for them to improve the experience with respawn options near the tracks to make racing more accessible and fun and easy to do even if you're crashing into a mountain and blowing up. Again, the respawning in this game, the situation's so confusing. Obviously death is going to matter because of paying for insurance and stuff like that, but also they want you to respawn everywhere because it needs to be easy. I don't know how they're going to do it. But let's not get caught up with that because the most interesting part of this whole thing was to talk about blueprints. Reputation and progression are going to rely around blueprints. Obviously, rewards need to come from somewhere. NPC factions have been starting to come into the game. Mission givers are going to come in with Reco Battaglia and Tisha Pacheco later this year. We need to be able to buy something from them. We got the scripts, although I don't know what the heck is going on with those. And the reputation points. The actual things we're going to be getting, though, are blueprints. So this can include skins, items, even ships. And the factions will provide blueprints based on what they like. So industrial factions will provide mining heads and mining bags. But blueprints are clearly becoming the main reward because full loot is not actually full loot in this game. I think this is their way of combating gear fear a little bit. See, item recovery is going to go back to the point where you can lose anything you're carrying. If you just get a gun for a reward as a mission, then you die 2 seconds later, it's gone. You didn't get to insure it. You don't know how to build it. The blueprints, though, are permanent. Those are tied to your character. So even if you die outside the door of the hut you just came in to drop off the ingredients for Grandma's chicken noodle chili, you still have that later when you respawn. Will this work and encourage people to carry things around? I don't know. And they're only really taking baby steps towards it with crafting tests going on right now, and blueprints probably coming in 4.7 or 4.8. The overall idea of crafting, if you remember I said it's supposed to be what everything's revolving around, is that there are going to be specialists in each area of crafting. So miners, refiners, and crafters will all have enough gameplay to specialize in that field and be valuable to other people to be used to get the best stuff. We covered this in a video a couple weeks ago on the channel. Go check that one out. It's on the main channel. And honestly, they won't say Star Wars Galaxies on camera, but I will. Kind of feels like it's really leaning in that direction. Definitely simplified from what they did, but it kind of has that vibe to it. And I like it. That, my friends, is really all the stuff that I think was worth highlighting. This was a pretty long highlight video already. I hope you got some good information from this. If you want to see the deep dive, I'm going to do a full read through where we'll just go full on in the topics on stream tomorrow or today. I don't really know. And you can keep an eye out for that here on the channel as well. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.